Yes.
With their mindset of the production meeting,
Yeah.
I feel like we've all spent so much time with them, Kate, through the promotion here, and people have gone to camp, and then at camp we've had one-on-one interviews, we've had roundtables, and obviously the tone changed about midweek here as we've gotten to this boiling point and coming to the 72-hour and 48-hour point. But I think both these guys are so well aware of where they are at this marker in their careers. They understand how much is on the line and how much, and this is what I really got out of today, how much they are now defining each other. And how much they're, even though we saw yesterday at the news conference, there's an appreciation of the dance partner. And that it took both of them to bring it to this level. For networks to come together, for promoters to come together, and for the American sports public, I would even go further in saying that you're starting to sense the roar of fire that's not even a sports viewing public now. It's a mainstream American deal here where the attention is. And people feeling that there's an obligation and you have to watch this on Saturday night to find out the great routine of who wins this showdown. I think there's an appreciation that these two guys have that they need each other right now.
Absolutely. Brian, you're going to be working the desk on Fight Night with Max Kellerman, with Tim, with Sean. What has you most intrigued about this fight?
Well, I think having a heavyweight champion of the world is very important to the sport. I think it really brings focus. And through the years, I was 14 years at ESPN, 12 years Friday Night Fights with Joe, with Max, I think with everybody here, eventually at various networks. And it's just difficult to get out to the public who the champ is. If you make fans work at trying to figure this out, you have a chance of losing them. And this transcends the sport when you can have one person. And I agree, looking at the call both Anthony Joshua fights last year, I think he's solidly in the number 3 spot right now. No matter how many belts he has, he lost that emphatically, got knocked out, came back, reclaimed his belts, and he has a title now. But these guys are both unbeaten. The winner here is the heavyweight champion of the world. And it's the biggest title in sports traditionally, and it brings in mainstream fans. And it's exciting for all the reasons that we say. Even though they're 31 and 34, you get the sense they're in their physical prime. They're in their spiritual and emotional prime. They're both peaking right about now. It's a classic matchup between a guy who's a natural boxer who's been boxing out of the crib and another guy who started at the age of 19. You have a guy who has immense power, and you have another guy who needs quickly at 6'9", is a tremendous boxer. There's so many intriguing elements, but again, we're not just competing with other sports or other boxing networks. We're competing, as they say in Netflix, with sleep. You're competing with movies. You're competing with all sorts of entertainment. And I think boxing at its best is the best thing out there and the most exciting thing out there, especially at 6'7" and 6'9" for the heavyweight championship.
Amen. Bernardo, you're going to be in the ring getting that first interview, and one of the men has their hand raised on Saturday night. How are you expecting the rematch to be different?
I expect both guys to go with what they know. I think all the talk of what's going to happen really doesn't matter until they get into the ring, because the first punch will change everything. And historically, we know that fighters revert to who they are. So once that first punch is landed by either Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder, that'll dictate where the fight goes. So in terms of it being different, I think the first round or two will be different. And then if it doesn't end there, they'll settle into who they are, because that's where they feel comfortable. Tyson Fury will be at his best using angles, moving, trying to stay away from that right. And Deontay Wilder will be that hunter. He knows that if he lays that right hand on you and it detonates, and I say detonate because usually you say he lands that right. No, when Deontay Wilder extends that right hand and gets that full extension and hits somebody, it detonates like a bomb. And those guys usually don't get up. The exception being Tyson Fury. So they're both confident, they both believe that in that 12th round they figured out what they need to do to win round 13 and moving forward. I'm sure that Tyson, after he got up and went after Wilder, he says, okay, that's my formula to win. That's a dangerous formula. That's putting himself out there in danger. And for Wilder, he's looking at it like, man, those last 4 rounds, it's a whole different fight than the first game. And so if I can just continue that to be round 5, I can do my work and finish him. So I expect it to be different in moments, but I expect the same thing to be the tone of the fight, because they both cannot get away from who they are.
Andre, did Tyson convince you in the fighting meetings today that he's got the right game plan for this?
When I first heard the game plan, or the new game plan, or the new mindset from Tyson Fury, I didn't believe it. Then I heard a little bit more, and I heard it again, and I started to believe it a little bit more. And then we heard it today, and I think I fully believe it. If you watch the first fight, there was an invisible line in the center of that ring. And for probably about 50% of the fight, Tyson Fury told that line and didn't allow Deontay Wilder to push it back. Now, I know that, most people think that Fury ran around the ring and boxed and was cute the whole night, but that's not necessarily true. Tyson Fury had several moments where he attacked Deontay Wilder with success. He had his best success when he attacked Deontay Wilder, so the game plan is not entirely crazy. The issue that I have is the weight gain and the bulk up. He's talking about being somewhere around 14 and a half pounds north of where he was the first fight. I don't agree with that. A 250-pound man is a big enough man to push back a guy who's 225, 223, somewhere around there. So I don't agree with the weight gain. He explained it to us today. I understand it in theory, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But the game plan is not entirely crazy. You have a guy with an 83-inch reach, right? Is boxing him, Tyson Fury, like he did the first fight, was that really a safe thing to do? He got caught twice. He almost got knocked out in the 12th round. So there's really no safe place in a ring with a guy like Deontay Wilder. So I'm not opposed to him saying, I'm going to push the issue and be bold enough and brash enough to push a guy back who typically doesn't have to go back. I made a living out of it, right? So it's dangerous, and it's no man's land from being on the outside and then getting on the inside. That's the hard part. How are you going to get inside and push him back consistently and often enough where you get hit, you're able to hit him back, you're able to get in that nip and tuck kind of fight? It's not easy, but I don't necessarily disagree with it. I just disagree with the weight game.
If you were to fight Deontay Wilder, what would your game plan be?
Well, I'm a pugilist specialist, so to box Deontay would be a great fight for me because it's one-dimensional. I'd rather fight him than Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury gives you all kinds of different looks, and he would have to get me thinking a little bit more. So Deontay, I would probably go towards and try and hit him to the body because he would be taller than me, and I would think I would be a more of an effective body puncher against him.
I think one thing too we got to give Deontay Wilder credit for. We understand what his gift is, his God-given gift, his power. And it's in his right hand. I know he still has a left hand, but we know him for his right hand. But it's also the skill, the nuance that he's developed over time to set that right hand up. He's learned how to get guys in the right position at the right time and land the shot in the right spot in order to get them out of there. That's skill. This is a guy who doesn't have 30 amateur fights, 30, 35 amateur fights, went on to win a bronze medal, was the only medalist in that Olympics, and he's obviously had a small sample size as an amateur, so he's learning on the job. That's why he had a lot of guys, he fought a lot of what we call dead men in the sport of boxing early on, trying to understand who he was as a professional fighter. He's done that. His style is established. He is improving little by little, but we got to give him credit for the skill that he does display.
You can indeed.
Most of the time we say it's the punch that we don't see is the one that hurts you. You can see the Deontay Wilder's punch coming and it hits you on the chin and it's lights out. You can see it coming. That's what makes him special. Yeah. That's what makes him special as well.
And I have to jump in. Yeah, we can all see that every time he throws that right hand, anybody he hits around the head, he can cuss. So, the power is elongated, and you're right, when it lands, it's like a bomb, the brown bomb. So, always have to be careful with that right hand, but, everybody's focused on his right hand, and I'm sure, he's improved a lot. I've seen his improvement, and he's answered the question, in my eyes, can he take a punch? Does he have stamina? All those questions that I asked him. He's definitely answered those questions, so I'm looking forward to a great fight. And you could say right now, Deontay's a seasoned professional right now. He's learned his craft. He knows what he needs to go in there and do.
Hold the mic like a rapper. You're in
Or
this.
DMC
Mark, I'm sorry it's taken me so long to get to you. Listen, I know that you love to delve into the character and the mind of a fighter. What?
Help me.
Woo! Very nice jacket, by the way. You love to get deep into the character of a fighter. I know that you first covered Deontay Wilder in 2014 or 2015, I think. How have you seen him evolve and change from the young man that you met back then?
Best thing I've ever seen in this report. A million years ago. At the end of our interview, December 2014, his kid, Naive, his daughter, got up and said, "Hey, you want to see me do a cartwheel?" She's born with spina bifida. She had a pronounced gait. And everyone on the crew was thinking the same thing, like, "Honey, don't hurt yourself, please." Before we could get it out, she scooted up on the ring apron, done the cartwheel, and nailed it. And I think about it today, I still want to cry. It was the most sublime, unplanned, genuine moment I've ever seen as a reporter covering news or sports. And if you think about it, it gave Wilder something that so few people actually have, which is a reason right off the bat to cheer for him. A year later, we walked down Times Square, and to be frank about it, no one knew who the hell he was. He's a heavyweight champion of the world. It is the grandest title in sports. It is still, however diminished, title, division, or whatever the hell it is. Other athletes judge themselves against the heavyweight champion of the world. But people in the street, tourists, didn't know who Deontay Wilder was. Are you LeBron? Who are you? And it got me thinking, here's a guy with a great story, an American champion, knocks people out. Why the hell don't people know who he is? And it forced me to think about this. It's not that the division has been without talent. It's been without rivalries. My first fight I covered here was Bo Holyfield 1. And it was great because it was the birth of the rivalry. And I think that that's what's been missing here. You get to see something, when you have a rivalry like that, and Joe was on stage yesterday with them, despite the obvious sort of tense and hilarious moments, you get to see someone more intimate. You need a partner. You need someone who can bring it out of you. You're seeing what's best about both of these guys. And you couldn't see them if they were solitary figures. And they're both, they're not archetypes, they're prototypes. There's never been a guy who fought like Deontay Wilder at this point. And there's never been a guy who fought like Tyson Fury. And they both have extraordinary stories and monumental egos. And I mean that in the best way. You need a huge ego to fill this role, heavyweight champion. So, look, I welcome, if the division has been reborn, if there was a renaissance, it started the moment the Fury got up. And it's because we have a rivalry.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback off of that. You know, even more than just having a rival, because I think there's a lot of rivals in the sport in every weight class, right? But a lot of the big fights aren't getting made. What I respect about both of these guys the most is the spirit in which they possess. They possess the same spirit of the fighters, the heavyweights, who went before them and laid the bricks on the path that they're now walking on. That willingness to risk it all. They say those things, but they're really risking it all. And now, some may say they're making tens of millions of dollars, so what are they really risking? Well, you got two proud men who have countries on their backs. They're risking embarrassment, they're risking their pay scale, because if they lose, they're not making what they're gonna make in a rematch. They're risking their legacy, bragging rights, reputation, all of those things. And whether we admit it or not as fighters, they're processing all of that this week. They're managing fears, they're managing doubts, they're reminding themselves of the work they put in and why they belong on the stage. They can have rivals, but if they're not willing to toe the line and go to their team and demand that certain fights are made, then we won't have rivalries rivals that actually fight each other to create rivalries. So we not only had one great fight, we're getting ready to have another one Saturday night.
Absolutely, this is why this fight feels like it's such a blessing to boxing right now. I'm going to open up the floor to you guys so that you guys can get your questions. Do we have microphones? Can anybody tell me? We do? Wonderful. So if you guys...
Which one's Carpenter?
Where's microphone? Santa? Give us a second to get to you, sorry. Gentleman here in a second.
Hey guys, thank you for taking time to answer our questions and address these topics. Andre, I specifically want to ask the question you just raised. Why aren't more boxers demanding that these fights be made cross promotion? As you talked about, you're giving these guys credit for kind of doing this and making sure the fans get to see this fight. Why are more boxers doing that? Any of you guys can
And I don't have an absolute answer, but to be able to face the other baddest man in your division, to be willing to go right in that cage, it can be scary business. It's not an easy thing to do. You gotta face your nerve, you gotta face your fears, because when you do something like that, you're on the stage in front of the whole world. You take your shirt off, you got 10 or 8 ounce gloves depending on what weight class you're in, and you go fight another man and try to back up all the talk that you talk in front of the whole world and all of you guys. And if you lay an egg, you guys are gonna ride about it. It takes a lot of courage to do that. And I don't think there's a lot of guys who want to do that. They want to be Money Mayweather, but they don't want to go through the pretty boy Floyd Mayweather stage when you're grinding and nobody's watching, and you're grinding and nobody's watching, and you're telling the world how great you are, nobody's listening. But you're facing the best to continue to amass a resume and a reputation where you ultimately get that top spot and you can prove it on the biggest stage. Guys don't want to go through that stage. They want to sidestep the pretty boy Floyd stage. They want to sidestep all the dark days when nobody's watching and listening, and they want to get straight to the money and the jewelry. So that looks good on the surface, but if you scratch a little bit, you see that it's some chinks in that armor.
It's a huge risk. And you also potentially, look, you gotta face the fear of, will I lose? But you also have to face the idea that you may be bucking your own promoter. And you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, or do you? So you have to come out. I think for most fighters to make something like this happen, you have to come out and say, I want this. You have to come out publicly, and that's a very lonely place to be.
Just to add on that, both of these heavyweights wanted each other from day one. Nobody wanted to sidestep each other. Deontay came over to England. He was searching for a great fight. Nobody wanted to fight him. Tyson Fury answered the call and came over to America and answered the call. So, a good job for both of them. This is what we need from great fighters. They don't want to sit back and take no easy fights. They want to fight the very best and prove that they're the best. Very important.
Next question.
Lennox, Sean Patel, FightNight.com. Lennox, you know a thing or two, obviously, about landing that right hand, the super right hand you had. What does Deontay have to do better at right up front?
Yes. What does Deontay have to do in this fight?
That he didn't do the first time to actually get to that.
Be more accurate with his punches, start the game off a little better. I think both fighters know each other right now, so they don't really have to waste time and say, oh, I need to figure you out. They know each other already. They've watched countless tapes on each other. What they needed to do is actually, go back and really train and say, what do I want to do in this fight? What can I do more of? What mistake did I make in the first fight? What don't I have to do in the second fight? So, and it really comes down to, what plans they have for this fight. They should have A game and a B game, and what works for them. And I think corners matter as well. The information that's given to each fighter when they go out there for each round is very important. So I'll be watching and listening to what they'll be saying.
For Deontay, jab. So Mark Whelan said, JD said, jab, be close to that right eye, jab. So it creates your distance too.
It's what sports science says too, because in sports science that Andre Ward meticulously researched.
Dr. Andre Ward.
When Deontay lands that left hand first, he lands a double-digit increase in accuracy behind that. So it's one of the punches that he rarely uses. It's worked for him so far because he had that eraser on the right hand, but after 12 rounds with Tyson Fury, who was hard to find in that first fight, I mean, he'd be well served to land that left, especially, taking into account that the right eye's being cut, 47 stitches, put that to the test. So, Mark Green and the whole team is aware that the jab is going to be key in this fight.
Go ahead.
Once again, I want to thank you for your time. Marcus Hayes, Fight on TV. Gentlemen, it was mentioned earlier by Andre Ward about managing your fears as a fighter. I think all of us regular folk in the room would like to know exactly what are the processes that you go through in order to manage the fears, because there has to be some sort of real fear in getting in the ring and getting down for a championship battle. This is for all the champions, if anybody wants to answer.
When you say managing your fear, for me, my fear was losing and not being able to do what I do best. Going in there and performing the best. I guess from how I managed my fear was just making sure that I was properly prepared, making sure I was in great shape, making sure I was working on the things I needed to work on to perfect them. Example, my jab. Working on my job and making sure that it was the best out there, that it was going to do the job that I needed it to do for me.
For me, I believe that fear is something that it starts with your mentality, it starts with how you think, and it moves into how you feel. If you allow it to, it'll determine the way you walk, it'll determine the way you talk, it'll determine everything you do. For me, I've always put fear in the back of my mind. I've always denied fear. I've always said, nah, that ain't true. No, I can do it. I've always talked to myself in a very positive way so that anything that is negative or anything that can be to someone else's fear, anything like that, I've always played almost a mind game with myself to keep myself safe, to keep my emotions intact, to keep my physical intact, and to make sure that I always went out and fought the way that I could fight and do the things that I know in my heart that I can do. I believe in Deontay Wilder and in Tyson Fury. There's very little fear at this point in both of their hearts and in both of their minds. Both of them believe that they're going to walk out of that ring Saturday night victorious. Both of them believe that they're going to knock one another out. There's not very much fear getting in the ring on Saturday night, and we are all in for a treat.
Look at Timmy's game. What about the fear?
Come on, there's a storm. How did you deal with fear?
I was getting killed. Hey, he said, I'm still living with it. Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I was always getting killed. I mean, honestly, I think that once you understand fear, it's a natural mechanism that God has given us. Once you understand that, I think you're able to deal with it. I just know that, being nervous is a good thing. More relaxed you are, the better you're gonna be. That's it. And, there's things that get into your head while you get into your hotel room, and you just gotta tell it, no, that's how it's gonna happen. And I think that the harder that you work in the gym, that kind of takes care of your speech as well. That's the reason why I work so hard in the gym, so that way I didn't doubt myself. That way I didn't say, oh, why did I run that extra mile when I'm in the ring? And say, I'm in a tough spot. I know that I did enough. I know that it's in me. I know that I'm meant to be in this position. So that's how I do everything. But I know I was always getting in.
I think everyone out there right now, if Tyson Fury said, oh yeah, I'm nervous as hell, y'all would all think that he's not ready for the fight. Being nervous is not a problem. It's all about how you manage it. And I think that everyone up here with the champions, we've been able to manage our emotions and our pride. We've been able to manage our confidence. We've been able to manage our family lives in comparison to our professional lives. And we've all been able to make it up here right now because we understood how to handle our fears. Even if we talk about the champions of television, the champions of reporting, you guys have all been able to manage everything you come up against, which is why you're up here right now. And those guys are going to do that on Saturday night.
I'll do it like Tim. I'm going to go ahead and head first.
What happened?
with all those little shots.
Listen, guys, I want to say we really appreciate you turning out for this. We do understand that it's not just, Fox, ESPN, what you see, Top Rank would make an event like this as big as it is. It's all of you guys out there who are part of the boxing community and family as well who turn out for us, and we do appreciate you. We hope you've enjoyed the guys speaking. They are available to you kind of offside as well if you want to try and grab them and get a few extra words from them as well. We'll be here for a minute more. And I'm told that the bar is open. Please don't go crazy, but enjoy yourself. Thank you.
I just got one more great job I came.
Hey, ask that last question up there.
This is Blue from Blue Sports TV. All you guys have been in big fights in your careers. Bradley been in a big fight with Manny Pacquiao. Sean, you've been in just your last fight with Errol Spence. Andre Ward was just in a big fight with Sergey Kovalev, Sonny Lewis.
Sorry, bro. Hang on a second. We're not hearing you. Just slow down a little bit.
I said that all you guys have been in huge fights in your career. This is a huge fight. Timothy Bradley, you've been in a big fight with Manny Pacquiao. Sean, you was just in a big fight with Errol Spence. Andre was in a big fight with Sergey, and Lennox obviously with Mike Tyson. Where do you guys rate the buzz and the promotion for this fight, and what does this do for the sport of boxing?
I think it's big right now. I appreciate everything that's happened up to this point. I go everywhere by myself. I just do my own thing. Nobody bothers me. But whenever I walk into someone at a grocery store, I've been at Walgreens. I mean, just little places. People that don't recognize me, but they just stir up conversation, and they find out that I'm a boxer. I always ask. I've asked, hey, have you heard about the fight this weekend? Everyone's heard about the fight this weekend, and I think that we collectively, PBC, Top Rank, ESPN, Fox, everyone involved with the promotion has done a fantastic job. I think the buzz is perfect for this fight. I think what they did yesterday, I personally, I was like, oh, don't go that far. Was perfect for what they were able to do to make that last push for pay-per-view and for this fight to be as big as it can be. I think right now it's the best fight that can be made in boxing, and I'm happy about it.
And I look at it like it's today is today. Tomorrow is even bigger, and Saturday is even bigger. So every day is growing bigger and bigger, and the buzz is definitely here, and people are excited about it.
It's your show. Are we good?
We're good.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Have a good night.
Thank you.